Welcome back to another edition of Baseball for Maniacs. The tone of this episode is going to be much more joyous than Monday's episode. If you guys saw, there was a lot of yelling, there was a lot of screaming, there's just a lot of frustration. And it wasn't just because they lost. Obviously, losing sucks. It's the way they lost, it's the way they came out, just making dumb plays, throwing the home when you should get the out at first, letting balls drop right in front of you, no communication, lifeless at bats. That was where the frustration was because this is a team that should be as hungry as any team in Major League Baseball, and they did not show that on Monday. But that's Monday, right? Because what is the job of a three-game series in baseball? It is to win 2 out of 3. That is your job, especially against teams like the Nationals. Everyone says the Nationals are scrappy. They put the ball in play. Okay, they do. The Nationals suck, dude. To where if you would have lost a home series in April to the Washington Nationals, the Phillies are going to be in a dogfight with the Mets and the Braves. They both look good to where if you lose the division by 2 or 3 games and then you can look back on your season and say, damn, really should have won that series against Washington. But fortunately, they didn't lose the series. They won the series. I'll do a whole series recap. Not really game one because I already did that in Monday's episode. I'll get into Painter's phenomenal debut. Just seeing that man, absolute cinema, absolute chills. But I kind of want to get into game 3 that just happened because emotions are high. I want to talk about the game. That quite literally saved my week up until Thursday. We'll see what they do in Colorado. But it starts off with Kyle Schwarber hitting that double. Trey Turner scores. Kyle Schwarber did get thrown out of third base. Again, another dumb baseball play. You don't make the first out of third or you don't make the last out of third. That's the golden rule in baseball. And I feel like they need to clean that up. I think that's a reflection of their manager. And for the past 4 years, granted, I like Rob Thompson. He doesn't really have his boys ready to play in the sense of smart fundamental baseball to where that shit needs to get cleaned up because we saw in October, it will come back to bite you. If you can't get a bunt down, if you can't, see that a wheel play is happening, you can't do this, that, you can't throw to the right side of the plate when there's a play at the plate when Trey Turner threw to the wrong side to JT, allowing the first run to score in game 2. Those little things need to be cleaned up and hopefully they will be, but whatever, we take a 1-0 lead. Christopher Sanchez did not have his best stuff today. But what do aces do? They lock in, they grind, and they battle. And that's exactly what Christopher Sanchez did. 5 1/3, 1-run ball. That just shows that Christopher Sanchez, he's an ace. He's a bulldog. Like, he can lock in and still get the job done when he doesn't have his crisp fastball. The location was kind of off today. Maybe his mechanics were off. He'll get in with Caleb Cotham. They'll fix that. He'll be lights out next start. Obviously not worried about Christopher Sanchez. But the offense was lifeless, right? Bryce Harper was, again, taking really bad at bats, swinging at crap in the dirt. And he mentioned in the postgame he still needs to clean up on that chase. And then Keller comes in, and I like Brad Keller. Not worried about Brad Keller at all. But he did leave a ball up to C.J. Abrams, and they make it 5-1. And the energy in that stadium was absolutely lifeless. The Philadelphia Phillies fans were ready to pounce on them. If they would have lost today, if the offense wouldn't have come back, it would really be pause for concern. Am I still concerned about the offense? Absolutely. I think the at-bats still need to be better because this team just does not hit the ball out of the ballpark as much as they should. But let's get into the comeback, right? Hell. JT hits a homer. JT's been struggling mightily at the plate to where the notion is, man, we really gave this guy 3 years, $45 million. I think he'll get it back. I don't think he's ever going to be the offensive threat that he once was back in 22, 23, 21. But it was nice to see him, take a hanger, put him out in the ballpark and, cut the lead to 5-2. Then Harper, like that home run by Bryce Harper, I think was so important, mainly for his mental, just to see one get out of the ballpark. And it was a great swing. He jumped on an 0-0, I believe it was a slider or curveball, whatever, dude. He hit out of the ballpark, and then they make it 5-3. And then the 9th inning, right? So Justin Crawford leads the inning. He smokes one to Brady House, and you're like, off the bat, he's safe, right? His speed, using his wheels. But House makes a phenomenal play and gets him out. And once that happened, I was like, damn. Because when I saw who was due up in the 9th, I wouldn't want anyone else than Justin Crawford. The way that kid's been playing, man, and we'll get into his walk-off, he's a baller, dude. Like, he genuinely is always a tough out. He's been playing a great center field, and I think his energy is going to infuse this clubhouse, same way with Andrew Painter. These young kids are hungry. You guys, the Turners, the Harpers, the Schwarbers, they need to resemble that same amount if this team is going to get where they need to be. And Trey Turner comes up. Trey Turner's been struggling. He didn't run out a ball in the 7th inning. That genuinely pissed me off because C.J. Abrams is not a good defender to where if you hit the ball in any sense of his direction, you better be busting it to put some pressure on him. So that was unfortunate, but he did his job in the 9th, went down 0-2. You thought, here we go again, Trey. Can you ever have a damn clutch hit? He pokes one to the right and starts off the rally. So good on Trey for that. Got to give him his props, but he still needs to be better. Absolutely. He's making $27 million a year. Run the damn ball out. Kyle Schwarber draws a walk, and then Bryce Harper comes up, and you think, man, he's going to do it. You think the showman's going to hit it out. He hits one to left. They catch it, so unfortunate. But then Bomer comes up. Bomer has been struggling ever since opening day. I think his average is down under the 200s. I think he'll be fine, but Alec Bohm is who he is. But he draws a walk, a very nice plate appearance. He doesn't chase. And then who was up there? Oh, and then Sosa comes up. Dude, and Mundo Sosa had his worst game as a Philadelphia Philly on Monday. He threw to home plate when he should have gone to first. He made an error in the 6th to where and Mundo Sosa never gets criticism in the city, and he shouldn't because he's the type of guy, man, that just loves to play the game of baseball. When he's in the lineup, he's an infusion of energy, spark plug, just happy to be there. That wasn't the case on Monday, but he comes in today, he pinch hits, and I think he goes down 0-2, swings at a couple fastballs, just late on them, and then they throw him an off-speed pitch, kind of hung up a little bit. He puts it into left field, and he ties the game. And Mundo Sosa today, and then we'll get into the 10th inning when he made that play to double up the runner and end the 10th inning. It was just phenomenal to see. And there's been numerous times in his time in Philadelphia where he gets in the lineup and he just brings that life to where kind of lifts up everyone else. You want Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper to bring that energy, but through 162, it could be tough. Now, granted, this was the 6th game of the season. You would hope their energy would be tough, but it's always nice. Sometimes you need Mundo Sosa to come in there and do a job. But then we go to the 10th inning. Duran comes in. Duran does his job. And Mundo Sosa makes that incredible play at second base, jumping, throws it to the runner. And then you just see him just like joyous, man. Adolis Garcia, which is one of his best friends, just giving him praise, giving him dap. You see Bryce Harper getting in on it. And it was just like, baseball is so funny how the tables can turn so quickly to where all the momentum came to the Philadelphia Phillies in the 10th inning. Obviously, you have the ghost runner on second base. JT hits a single to right. Hopefully, the homer and the single to right kind of sets JT off to kind of go on a little bit of a run. Because JT, man, and he threw a runner out today. JT's hasn't lost a beat defensively. And I like JT. It's just a sense of like, I believe we overpaid for him. I believe we panicked when we didn't get Bo Bichette. But I still really like JT as a player. And we're going to need him this year. So it was very nice to see him kind of be productive with the bat today. And then Justin Crawford. Like, this kid is it. And he's not going to be a superstar. He never is. That's not his game with his bat. He's a singles hitter. He could poke a double down the line sometime, but he's just what you call a damn good ball player and a winning ball player. The infield's obviously coming in, and you just know Justin Crawford, like, with his bat to ball skills, he's going to smoke one. And he hits one to second base right through the infield. The Phillies win the game. And just so good for that kid, man. Like, I did not expect this coming off the bat, but I think he has so much confidence in himself. I think he's just happy to be there. He's been in a big league clubhouse his entire life to where he's going to be meant for the moment. And I'm just picturing it now in October. He's going to be a problem for the other teams in October because you got your Trey Turners, you got your Bryce Harpers, you got your Kyle Schwarbers, who for the last couple of postseasons have not done their job because most of the time they're swinging for the fences, they're swinging at crap in the dirt. Justin Crawford is made for postseason baseball. And I know it's April, but I'm getting giddy just thinking about him putting one down the line, an 0-2 count, just like grinding it out, making a play in center field. And today showed that to where he was my most like excited player to watch going to the season. And he did that today. So it was phenomenal. The Phillies got the win. They got the series win. And I think this will lead him into Colorado, have some momentum, put some wins under their belts. Because like I said, these games matter just as much as the games in September down the stretch to where it's going to be a long season when we're fighting with the Mets, fighting with the Braves, hell, fighting it to get to the playoffs. Because we saw with this offense, like if it goes cold, man, boy, does it go cold to where you got to rack up as many wins as possible. We're going off to play the Rockies, have an off day tomorrow. We got Nola, Luzardo, Walker. Colorado's going to be tough. Hopefully the Bats can kind of take what they did today and kind of, put a 10, 15 spot on the Rockies, because the Rockies are also a terrible baseball team. They just got swept by the Marlins. I think the Marlins are a good, scrappy team. Are they a playoff team? Probably not, but they swept the Rockies. The Rockies aren't a good team to where I'm not going to call for a sweep, because I never do, because even a team as bad as the Rockies is hard to do in Major League Baseball. Win 2 out of 3. I think Luzardo is going to shove on Saturday. Now you just have to pray that either Nola or Taijuan Walker gets together, and then you go to San Francisco. I think they have won the last 2 games against the Padres after starting off 0-3. This is a road trip to where you want to go 4-2. I don't care how it gets done. You want to go 4-2. You want to do a job, win series, stack up series wins, just stack up wins in general, because these wins are going to matter when it's going down in September. It's the last few games of the season. I don't think it's going to be like last year where the Mets collapse and the Phillies have a 14, 15 game lead. But overall, the theme of today, and it's so funny how it happened in the span of maybe 25 minutes from the 7th inning up until the 10th inning walk-off, to where that's baseball, man. Like, when you think you're done, when you think the energy is completely dead, you get a couple hits, you get a spark plug like in Mundo Sosa, and you could go win a ball game. Happy flight, you win the game, you win the series. I forgot to mention, and I'll probably do a full video on Andrew Painter's debut. That kid, what he's been through, he was supposed to be in the rotation in 23 as a 19-year-old. The stuff was there. Unfortunately, he went down with Tommy John last year, first year off Tommy John. He had a lot of expectations put on him by Dave Dombrowski, saying probably July-ish he's going to come up. Well, that kind of led to Andrew Painter, I feel like, putting too much pressure on himself. And they always say the first year back from Tommy John is always an adjustment period to where you're learning how to pitch again. You're getting on the mound after a severe injury. And I'm sure in his head, he was like, am I ever going to return back to the form? To where the struggles in 2025, I think, are going to benefit him greatly, because he's already been through the worst, in my opinion, of his career of genuinely struggling at AAA. But he came in there last night, bulldog, absolute bulldog, to where if he can give you what he gave you last night, now, of course, you're not going to expect 5+, only one earned run all the time, but it's just the poise and the moxie that Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford are bringing this team, I think is going to help them out tremendously, because everyone talks about running it back, right? And essentially they did, right? But great teams like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, they have young kids that come up and kind of like rejuvenize the team, rejuvenize the energy in the city. Because, if you're with the same guys for 4 to 5 years, even if you like the guys, the message can get stale. But if you see Andrew Painter come up, 6 shutty, basically, the run came in unearned when Tanner Banks came in, but that's got to light a fire under Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber. You would hope it does. And you would hope Justin Crawford walking it off today, having 3 hits, is going to, light up the city. I think it will. Just kind of get back to playing just good baseball, winning some games, stacking some stuff up, because the schedule from April to May is pretty easy. We have a light schedule to where you got to stack up these wins, because when you're playing the really good teams, the motto is always this: beat up on the crappy teams and play 500 ball against the good teams. If you do that for the entire season, you're going to see yourself in October. But let me know what you guys think about today's game, today's series. Andrew Painter yesterday, like I said, I would probably do a full video on that. Feels good, man. Feels good to win a ball game, win a series. Walk-offs are always fun. But that'll do it for this episode of Baseball for Maniacs. And as always, go Phils.